Mark Dobmeier is redefining the term dialed in. How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elson, and this is Midco Motorsports. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Dynamite's dominance at River Cities, and nothing has changed since then. In fact, things have only gotten better. Dobmeier had a chance to break his own track record Friday as he went for a remarkable 7th straight 410 victory in Grand Forks. Travis Robertson would steal some of the focus early on in the street stocks feature as it took the Moorhead, Minnesota native just a lap and a half to go from 5th to 1st. Rival Ryan Flayton would make a charge off a late restart, but the 50 cannot make the pass. Robertson pulls away for his 5th win of the year at RCS, but his first since June 10th.
We kind of went back to what we had been doing last year. We changed a lot of stuff in the car in a week, and we scaled it and got it ready, and you know, it was one of the best handling cars I've had all year, and it was one of the best tracks we've gotten to run on all year.
Bill Mooney was coming off a rough couple of weeks in the late models, but that was part of the reason he got to start up front on Friday, and the 2M looked like it belonged there. Fellow Canadian Mike Balkin would make him earn it, though. He was hot on Mooney's heels throughout, even taking the lead here on lap 13. Wouldn't last though. Mooney sticks to his guns. He rides the cushion to get back in front and goes on to collect his first win since May 27th.
My crew worked hard on the car and we're getting it figured out, and so I had a good car and I just had to drive it.
That meant it was time for Dobmeier and those outlaw sprints. The 13 started on the inside of row 5 for this one, but made its way up to second by the halfway point. That wasn't good enough. A few laps later, Dynamite completes the climb in style. A wicked slider to claim the top spot from the 25 of Corey Mack. And it was all Dobmeier from there. The Grand Forks native makes River Cities history, winning a record 7th straight outlaw sprint feature.
Seems like this year, right from the get-go, we tried stuff. We didn't start with traditional, and we found some speed, and we've been building off that and tweaking everything here and there, and we just, at the end of the day, we just got it rolling right now. You know, it's we were second the very first night, and since then we've been able to pull off wins here.
Just 24 hours later, Dobmeier South Dakota fans hoping to see more of the same at Badlands Motor Speedway. There's another guy that's been awfully tough to catch in the late model street stocks. That is Darren Cordles, who won last week at Badlands, then won again Tuesday at Rapid Speedway. And the 11K would stay hot in this one. Cordles outraced pole setter Craig Hanisch on the start and never looked back. Cordles cruises to a 3rd straight victory and his 5th of the year in Brandon.
It can change in a heartbeat, so I'm just going to keep riding this wave as long as I can. I've even got guys texting me, fellow competitors, like, how in the world? And I have no answer for that, and I'm just going to keep it rolling because it can change in a hurry.
Cordles also said starting position definitely helped him Saturday, but that was not the case for Robbie Wolfgang and the IMCA Race Savers. The driver of the 429 had his work cut out for him after starting 10th, but he'd get the job done in a hurry. Just 6 laps in, Wolfgang blows past Taylor Ryan for the lead, and he stayed there the rest of the way. Wolfgang's 5th win might have been his most impressive yet.
Even from the front row, it's tough to win, so certainly from anywhere further back, it's even tougher. So I really made us work for it, starting 10th position, but we're so fortunate to make it through the pack clean and get out in the lead after a handful of laps.
Last but not least, it was the 410 sprints, and based on the way the rest of the night had gone, no one was surprised to see things unfold the way they did. Dobmeier moved from 3rd to 1st on the opening lap, and nobody came close to the 13 after that. Dynamite's regional dominance continues as he parks the 13 in victory lane for the 3rd straight week at BMS.
I think this is 6 races in a row between the River Cities and Badlands Speedway here, so we're on a roll. We're just hoping to keep this thing going, and it's a perfect timing because we're coming into the Knoxville Nationals and this Rock and Roll Gold Cup down here right in mid-August.
Sunday night was extra special at Badlands as the track honored the late, great Randy Drescher, who passed away earlier this year. Pick things up with the latest chapter in the hobby stocks battle between Chad Kunert and Dustin Gulbranson. Kunert started 4th for this one, but he didn't waste much time getting to the front. The 44 gets around Jim Bartman for the lead on lap 4. Well, Bronson had a pretty good run himself. He worked his way up from 8th to finish 3rd. But this night belonged to Coonert. He gets his 3rd win and regains the lead in the points.
We root each other on, and we want to get the fans excited too, so we're having fun with it, and we got a good battle going on, so I'm going to keep taking some at him, he's going to take some at me, and we're going to have fun.
The number 24, a huge part of the night's 360 feature. 24 cars would go 24 laps on July 24th to honor the Huset's Hall of Famer, Randy Drescher. Things got off to a rough start. Off the green flag, Brandon Halverson gets into the wall hard. Heavy damage to the 13, but Halverson was okay. When they got back to action, the 6 car of Carson McCarl emerged as the one to beat. McCarl would lead the next 15 laps, but his run ends in a hurry. McCarl goes for a wild ride in turn 1, ending up on his side. He too would be okay. Carson's wreck would hand the lead to his dad, Terry McCarl, and he would show the way for the final 6 laps. That's right, the 24 wins the Randy Drescher Memorial.
I thought it'd be pretty awesome for the number 24 to win tonight, so maybe I had a little help from him, and you know, like I said, I'm proud to put that name of this event in my winning circle, and you know, to represent him and his family tonight was awesome.
Mark Dobmeier isn't the only driver dominating the local racetracks. We'll introduce you to Rapid Speedway's stock car sensation when we come back.
This episode of Midco Motorsports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Rapid Speedway.
And welcome back. Well, we just talked about the role that Mark Dobmeier has been on lately, but he isn't the only driver that's been tearing it up on the local racing scene in 2016. Kelly Stewart introduces us to the man that's quickly becoming the king of the stock cars at Rapid Speedway.
Like most in the racing business, Elijah Zevenbergen got his first taste of the track at a young age.
You know, I've always been a gearhead, always loved wheeling go-karts and just anything that was fast enough to do something silly on. And, you know, my whole life I've been wheeling stuff and having fun with vehicles and whatever you want to call it. So I don't know exactly when it hit, but I've always loved driving.
That love is shared by his family. In fact, it's kind of a way of life. The Zevenbergens own and operate a machine and tool repair shop in their hometown of Ocheyedan, Iowa. They work together, and they've always raced together, too.
Well, when I was younger, we were always going to the races, watching races with my dad and my family, and it was always a blast. And then as soon as I turned 13, we got into the sport compact class, the front wheel drives, and we did that for quite a few years till I turned 16. And as soon as I was 16, we jumped into the stock car class right after that.
Moving right into stock cars isn't the traditional route for most drivers, but it turned out to be a great move for Zevenbergen. He's logged a lot of wins across the region over the past several seasons, but things have really taken off in 2016, particularly at Rapid Speedway, where he's won 5 times in 8 tries.
It's smooth for the most part. It's always dry, and even if it's heavy, it's always racy. So I mean, that's part of the success is when you are faster, you can get around them and you can pass. So that's something we love about this track. The track prep is always really good.
And if anyone knows about the importance of prep, it's Zevenbergen.
You know, I always say bad luck comes to those who don't get ready and prepare, and good luck comes to those that do. So I don't put hardly anything towards luck because you pretty much determine what luck you're going to have, in my opinion. But yeah, we all work hard to make it happen, and it's been working for us this year.
Us is the key word. Elijah gets most of the attention, but he says the dedication of those around him is the true key to his success.
Oh, between family and friends, it takes a ton of time out in the shop, turning wrenches, keeping stuff ready to go, getting tires ready, you know, working on different setups, trying to get things figured out, so you're always competitive. I mean, it takes hours and hours in the shop just developing and keeping things going.
For Midco Motorsports, I'm Kelly Stewart.
Thanks, Kelly. Zevenbergen not in the field for Friday's weekly show at Rocky, but Roger DeBoer was. DeBoer looking to bounce back after a rough couple of weeks in the sportsman's class, but the effort appeared to derail just 3 laps in. The 50 spins while leading, and DeBoer would have to head to the back. He wasn't done, though. DeBoer gets the lead back from Brian Clausen just as they reach the white flag, and he'd finish it off this time. DeBoer goes first to worst to first for his 3rd win in 5 weeks.
When I got sent to the back, I had to move down a lane to try to make a pass, and I found a lot of traction down there, and luckily, everybody else decided to stay up top, and I was able to just work the magic in the middle, I guess.
Thor Anderson was stripped of a win last week in the B mods due to a weight violation, so he was driving with a little something extra to prove. Anderson took control from the pole, and he kept the hammer down in the 41 the whole way. Points leader Mitch Van Engen made a bit of a charge late, but it wasn't quite enough. Anderson officially gets his second win of the season in wire-to-wire fashion. With that victory, Anderson moves back into the top 5 in the points. Van Engen remains the leader, while Cullen DeRuyter has climbed up 1 spot to second. Lighter field for the stock cars this week, but there was no shortage of entertainment. The 84 of Matt Lang, the 04 of Roger Verdorn, and the 40 of Scott Overgaard battled it out for most of the 18-lap feature, with each guy getting at least one turn at the front. Overgaard and Verdorn running side by side with about 5 to go, but the 40 gains the edge down the front stretch, and that would do it. Overgaard drives on for win number 2.
It's a good confidence builder. You know that things are going good. You're going in the right direction, trying to get faster all the time. So, you know, you're always thinking next week, maybe change a shock or do something different, be faster yet.
The Hobby Stock Special rounded out the night, $500, the prize everyone was chasing. Last week's winner, Blake Ahrens, had the 22 in front again, but he wouldn't be able to keep it there. Ahrens falls back to third as both the 38S of points leader Dylan Fitzpatrick and the 117L of Chad Loneman drive by him on the outside. 1 lap later, Loneman trades places with Fitzpatrick, and that would prove to be the final lead change of the night. Loneman claims the special, giving him a division-high 3 wins on the season. The 6 other Hobby Stock victories are spread out among the top 5 in the points. Fitzpatrick currently 26 better than Galt Bronson. Ahrens is running third. After a quick 2-week break, the National Sprint League resumed its season Friday at Jackson Motorplex. Highlights from that, as well as the NOSA show at Norman County, coming up next.
This episode of Midco Motorsports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Rapid Speedway.
Wade Nygaard has picked up right where he left off last year with the Northern Outlaw Sprint Association, notching 2 wins and 10 top 10 finishes in the first 10 races to put himself in position for a 9th series championship. Nygaard looked to keep things rolling Thursday as the NOSA Sprints made a stop at Norman County Raceway. The stands were packed on a hot and sticky night in Ada. The IMCA Sport Mods led things off. Kelly Jacobson in the 51 with a good run early, climbing from 6th to 1st in a span of 2 laps. Jacobson still out front with 3 to go, hassling Taylor Grove to begin lapping the field, but there's trouble for a pair of 3s behind him. Jesse Skoleski gets spun out by Andy Wagner. Skoleski would get to hold his spot while Wagner gets sent to the back. That was key because on the final lap, Skoleski challenging for the lead, but he can't quite make the pass. Jacobson holds him off for an exciting win.
You got to be up on the wheel, and you don't even get time to think. You just stand on the throttle and hope to God it turns coming in.
Matt Scow held a big lead early in the Midwest Mods feature, but he sees it evaporate with 10 to go. The 2S slips in turn 3 and gives way to Dylan Goplin. Scow struggles in turn 3, continued 3 laps later. This time it's defending track champ Jason Strand that takes advantage. The E85 moves into 2nd after starting 8th. Strand didn't stop there. 4 to go. He gets by Goplin as well. And the E85 ends its drought in Ada. Strand becoming the 8th driver to win in 9 Midwest Mod features.
That was a handful there. I thought I was starting to dry off a little bit, and I made some changes there at the last minute, and it made it a handful, but it was still fast.
Fast forward to that NOSA Sprint feature and a restart with 10 to go. Austin Pierce blows past pole setter Jordan Adams for the lead. The 2A would build his own advantage over the next 5 laps until Adams runs into trouble. He would end up finishing 11th. That caution would give Corey Mack a shot. The 25 briefly grabs the lead after the restart, but Pierce refused to let this one get away. He goes on to celebrate his first NOSA victory of 2016, followed by Mack and Nygaard.
Feels amazing. We've been battling for a win here all year long. We've been running in the top 3, top 5 pretty much every night, and then now it finally feels good to be standing up front.
While the NOSA Sprints owned Ada on Thursday, it was the NSL 410s headlining Friday's show at Jackson Motorplex. $10,000 to win the inaugural Richard White Memorial. Starting position was key for this one. The crowd pleaser Craig Delansky shared the front row with Bill Baylog in the 17B. Lap 3, those two have a quick battle for the lead. Baylog tries the high side, but Delansky slams the door coming out of turn 2. That proved to be the only serious challenge Delansky would get all night. The NSL points leader goes the distance for his series best 3rd win of the season.
We got a strong race team, this TKS Motorsports team. It's just, it's a smaller budget team, but, to have the success we are so far this year, there was a lot of work that went into the offseason there to try to get our motor program a little stronger. And, we got a lot of work to do yet, but we're definitely, for what we have here for a team as far as budget-wise, I'm just very proud of this entire race team, TKS Motorsports.
Delansky and the rest of those NSL drivers are going to be chasing big money again this week. We'll give you the details after this.
This episode of Midco Motorsports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Rapid Speedway.
Well, we've taken you through the highlights. Now it's time to look a little closer at some of the people and events making news on our regional racetracks. And here to help us with that, as always, Midco SN analyst Rod Pattison. Hot laps with Hot Rod time. Rod, let's start with Mark Dobmeier. That's a name, of course, that anyone who's followed racing in the Dakotas has known for quite some time. But he's doing something right now that's pretty special. 6 straight wins between River Cities and Badlands. He's got 7 in a row in Grand Forks. That's a record. My question to you is the 13 team peaking too early?
Well, I don't know if you could talk the word peaking when it comes to Mark Dobmeier. They are very consistent from March and April, clear until September and October. When they come to the race, they are ready to go. The only thing that keeps them down once in a while is something that's out of their control, something happens in front of them, mechanical, et cetera, et cetera. They are so good at Grand Forks, River City Speedway, and so good at Badlands Motor Speedway because of lap traffic. He is just phenomenal. There's some good guys that are good in lap traffic. He's a stud in lap traffic, and that's why he is so good at those little bull rings. Now, the month of money coming up, the big race in Knoxville. He's good there, but he's not as good as he is at River Cities or Badlands, just because you don't get into lap traffic that much when you're on the big half mile or at Jackson or Knoxville, something like that. Definitely running well right now, but again, it's the style of racing that he does at the little bull rings and what makes him so good right now.
Yeah, time will tell whether he's able to sustain the pace he's on right now, but he's certainly got to like where he's sitting heading into the month of August. All right, well, Big Race Friday coming up at Jackson Motorplex. Actually going to be the highest paying single-day show in the history of that racetrack. $20,000 to win, $10,000 to the runner-up, $1,000 just to start the 410 feature on Friday night. There's also going to be an increased purse for the 360s, guaranteed to be another exciting night for sprint car racing in Southwest Minnesota.
And there is so much history at the Jackson Motorplex. This thing is going to be phenomenal. 20 grand to win, like you said. You ran down all the numbers. Increased payout 360, like you say. Huge number of 305s. It's going to be great for me, an honor for me to be there for that reason, the biggest payout, but also because of Barb Wiskus Memorial Night. Barb was a tremendous, tremendous lady, dear friend of mine. We lost her a few years ago because of health reasons. She was my racing mom at the racetrack all the time. Spent a lot of time at the track, up and down the road to going to different events. So it's going to be a great, great night. Brian Clausen, who led a lap at the Indy 500, is going to be there. Brady Bacon, who won earlier this year with the USAC Sprints, is going to be there. Kerry Madsen, and a lot of great local and regional 410 guys will be there just to run 410s, not to mention the big 360 car count we'll have, all the 305 race savers going to have. Get there, folks. It's going to be a phenomenal sprintacular show at Jackson Motorplex.
Funny how many guys come out when 20 grand is at stake.
You
right?
might even get in a race car.
Maybe. All right. Well, finally, we've got to shine some light on the continuing success at Rapid Speedway. Remember, just a couple of years ago, it looked like this track might be fading away, but Derek Vanderbrink and his team came in, revived it, and I think you could make a serious case right now for it maybe being stronger than it ever has. So why, in your opinion, are things going so well in Rock Rapids?
Derek Vanderbrink is a former racer, and so he understands what it takes to put on a show. And it's one of those deals where you don't really know what you have until it's gone. I think people in Rock Rapids in that area realize that, hey, our racetrack's in trouble. We need to step up to the plate. So a lot of people stepped up with time, money, energy, ideas, those types of things. And Derek has kind of taken everything under his arm and ran with it. he's a racer. He understands what it takes from the racing standpoint. He understands the fan standpoint, the business standpoint. And I think the word promoter has become a lost art. And Derek Vanderbrink has done a phenomenal job being a promoter, not only of the racetrack, but of the MSTS 360s, the late model street stock touring series. Just a phenomenal racing mind. And he and a lot of other people have done a phenomenal job at that racetrack.
And one way to judge that is, of course, car count. It is consistently high each and every week in Rock Rapids. They're certainly becoming a real player in the local racing scene. That's great. Well,
yep, and a lot of variety too, because you got late models and sprints. I mean, it's just a phenomenal place.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's it. You are off the Hot Laps hot seat for one more week. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
All right, well, Rod has seen the checkered flag, and this show still has one lap remaining. We'll wrap things up with a look at the weekend schedule next.
This episode of Midco Motorsports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Rapid Speedway.
Here's a look at where the Midco Motorsports cameras are going to be heading this week. Enjoy the races, everyone. We'll see you back here next week.
This episode of Midco Motorsports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Rapid Speedway.